Is your client fearful if Diddy does get out?
As you know, I represent other clients, actual victims who have sued Mr. Combs, Diddy, in civil court, and all of them are very apprehensive about their safety if he were to be granted bond. I am confident in the court. I am sure that the court will remain with their previous decision of no bond. I feel like the judge only gave this let me think about it just to not make it as obvious. But I have all the confidence in the world and the federal court in the state of New York that they will remain keeping Diddy under no bond and that all of the victims in this case will be able to proceed sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and you mentioned, I mean, you don't just represent this man, you represent other alleged victims too and people involved. Have there been any threats made against any of your clients?
In a developing story, a judge is deliberating a significant decision about a high-profile defendant's potential release. A ruling is expected next week. I spoke with the attorney representing both alleged victims and others connected to the case. When asked if their clients are fearful of the possible release, the attorney confirmed their concerns, emphasizing the victim's safety and the importance of the court's judgment in maintaining strict conditions.
There have been threats from people on the internet, but not from, at least what we don't know, from Diddy to be directly. So my clients have, Mr. Burgess has received several death threats. My client, Mrs. Parham, has been receiving threats, but we don't know if they're just regular people from the internet or if they're actually people who were sent by Diddy.
Do you have any idea where the threats are coming from? I mean, have you done any investigation?
Well, most of the investigation leads us to a lot of burner accounts on Instagram, and we're trying to now sift through possibly working with law enforcement to try to get subpoenas to determine the IP addresses of where those threats were emanating.
So, okay, interesting. We know that the cease and desist letter has now come. Has there been any other pressure of any kind that you or your clients have felt to stop talking?
The lawyer revealed that threats have been made, primarily from anonymous sources online, though their origins remain unclear. Efforts are underway to work with law enforcement, seeking subpoenas to trace IP addresses linked to these accounts.
In general, I feel that the gag order, when we talk about that, Mark Agnifilio wrote about me specifically, and also all of the other plaintiffs in the civil lawsuits to try to have all of us gagged. There's pressure every day that us continuing to talk about this is putting not only our lives in jeopardy, but could be potentially used against us in a gag order.
So I just want to make sure I understand correctly, it was Diddy's sons who actually sent the cease and desist? Is that the way it was worded?
Yes, it was worded as coming from Quincy Brown and Christian Combs.
Additionally, the lawyer discussed receiving a cease and desist letter purportedly from Sean Diddy Combs's family, allegedly aimed at silencing ongoing legal action and public discussion. The letter's legitimacy and intent have raised eyebrows, as contradictions within the document itself undermine its credibility.
It did mention the daughters, but it did not name them specifically, but it did name the two sons, Kim Porter's sons.
So, do you get the sense that from behind bars, Diddy is still directing all of this, is the one who said send this letter? Do you think he's that involved?
I'm 100% confident it was Diddy who orchestrated this whole farce of a letter. The letter was a waste of my time to read and a waste of the lawyer's time to write. I hope the lawyer who wrote that letter got paid triple, because it was actually a very stupid letter.
Why do you say that? Why do you say stupid?
Well, because they contradicted themselves in their own letter. In one breath, they're asserting that these sons have copyright, they're the copyright owners, and that Courtney is not the proper copyright holder. And then in the same breath is calling Courtney a liar.
When asked whether Diddy himself is orchestrating these actions from behind bars, the attorney stopped short of outright accusation, but expressed confidence that the letter was part of a broader strategy to suppress claims.
The copyright owner of is a fake. cannot be true. Either it's a fake and it's a work of fiction that Mr. Burgess made up himself, or it's actually the work of your mother, and then you can maybe assert some copyright issues, but even copyright ownership, but there are issues there as well because Mr. Burgess received the copyright from Kim Porter prior to her death. So that would mean there was a conveyance of copyright, which means in the instance where Kim Porter has now passed on, those ownership rights wouldn't belong to her heirs because she already conveyed them before her death.
Interesting. I just find it sort of fascinating that with everything that gets written about Diddy and all the claims and everything you see online, that you and your client are the ones who are getting this cease and desist letter. What exactly that means, I guess we'll have to wait and find out.
I'm not surprised
you don't
at
seem
all
surprised.
because I'm really good at what I do. So I think, the whole thing about the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I've been making a lot of noise. I've been making noise about Diddy since 2021. He's been trying to silence me for years now. So now I'm sure he's feeling, if anybody's feeling the pressure, I'm sure it's him.
Are you nervous at all?
The attorney stated they remain steadfast in pursuing justice despite pressure and potential security concerns. They stressed their commitment to protecting clients and pushing forward in the case, even in the face of intimidation. When asked whether Diddy himself is orchestrating these actions from behind bars, the attorney stopped short of outright accusation, but expressed confidence that the letter was part of a broader strategy to suppress claims.
No, I keep 2 straps on me. I make sure, and I have God protecting me. I'm not scared as long as he's behind bars. I will say if he does get out, I am grateful to hear that the judge won't let him come back to Miami. So to that extent, I'm very grateful. If he were to come back to Miami, I probably would be a little nervous and probably beef up security. But other than that, I know I have God's protection, so I'm not scared. And I'm pretty good with my Smith & Wesson, so.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Additionally, the lawyer discussed receiving a cease and desist letter purportedly from Sean Diddy Combs's family, allegedly aimed at silencing ongoing legal action and public discussion. The letter's legitimacy and intent have raised eyebrows, as contradictions within the document itself undermine its credibility. As the situation unfolds, all eyes remain on the upcoming court decision and its implications for both sides of this contentious case.